I'm Pat Barkman. Today I'd like to talk to you about seed collecting and other July chores because the pests are beginning to enhance themselves in the garden, such as the spider mites and the aphids and other things. So I'd like to discuss that today with you. This is the red lily beetle, and it makes a devastating mess of these Turk cap lilies. So what it does is it stays on the underside of the leaf, and you have to bend over to look under the leaf, and then put your hand underneath like this, because they have the habit of falling down, and then you have them unless they fly away. And to destroy them, I put them on the smooth surface and stomp on them. You can see they're about to bloom, and as soon as they bloom, I'll pull them all out because the leaf is looking horrible, even though I've been picking them off all the time. These are the phlox here, and as you can see, something has sucked out the chlorophyll of there, so it's chlorodosis, and on the underside you can sort of see a mess. If you got in real close, you could see that it's probably spider mites. So I'm going to take some dish soap first and run my hands along the core of those plants and see if I can get the spider mites off first. So here we go. This is just ordinary dish soap. Because they're on the underside, you have to start low and see if we're getting anything off there. Well, there's some black specks, but who knows. Otherwise, what you should do is take your hose and go over the underside on a high nozzle speed. The next thing you do is put in some neem oil, which for organic gardeners is fine. It's a fungicide, mildew insecticide, and it's just really an oil. $11 for it, but it lasts quite a long time. So you have to bend the plants over and again get them on the underside of the leaf if you want to save them. Sometimes, because they're pretty devastated, you might just want to throw those plants out if you've got lots of them, until the leaves are all wet. So this is a sweet William, and if I tip it over, you can see that the seeds are now coming out. See them all in my yellow glove? So I can take those and either send them to a friend who'd like some biennials, or I can toss them in the garden and they'll grow again for next year. On the foxglove, test the bottom seed pods to see if they are going to give you the seeds. Yes, they are. They're so tiny that you can hardly see them, but that's they. And either package them up or throw them in the garden, and more foxgloves will be there next year, also known as the digitalis. And now we can pull out these plants that are done after we get the seeds from the bottom. And they're easy to pull out. These are the Irish poppies, or Shirley poppies, and when I open them up you can see that there's probably 1 million seeds in there, and you might not want all of those to germinate, although it's a very pretty plant with a lovely blue-green leaf. And the seed pod, as you can see, is nice and full So I've opened one up, and I can save those or not. Although the planter looks lovely right now, if I cut it back, it will look even lovelier midway through the summer. It's July 4th, and I'll use those red geraniums in the bouquets. My friend gave me these orange thumb and forefinger deadheading tools. So let's try it out on these daylilies. You should get rid of all your old daylily. Now you could click them off easily, but you can see that this does work by snapping them off with that sharp edge on the thumb. And let's see if it works on some of these other plants. Your garden looks nicer if you deadhead. Some July chores. One thing I did, because we get great wind, is I stabilized this support by attaching a brick in there. And I think that makes it stable because I've also begun to attach the dahlias there, and I've used some cut up old yoga pants or ski pants to make a stretchy material that you don't notice and put it around the dahlias. And you can see that the dahlias have just begun to bloom in here, and they're growing strong. They're needing some support cages and some attachment to something strong. I even attached it to the little tree that I planted this year, the old man beard fringe tree. So the tomatoes are also stacked, and I have to show you a portion in here. If you're going to use little wire loops to touch the string from an upper support down to a lower support, you need to have a rock such as this, a nice flat rock, to keep that bottom portion of the string that's attached to a wire in the ground. Otherwise, what happened with this one is it all flopped over because the weight of the plant took that wire loop that I had inserted at the bottom up. So now I've got a piece of fencing in here, and it's attached to this upper support. But you can see that the tomatoes here in zone 6B are coming along, and I think I could take back some of this foliage so that even more tomatoes would get the sunshine. But lots of blossoms coming. Last year I had tomatoes even into January. They were little cherry tomatoes, but they made a nice addition to a stir fry and were delicious. So I'll do the same this year. If we have any extra green tomatoes at the end of the year, I'll just store them in the kitchen and add them as I go along to the stir fries. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.